Hi everybody, I am Chris G and welcome to the Habs360 2013 Canadian season in review featured on allhabs.net. On this episode of the podcast, myself and my co-host Peter look back at the Canadian season and give grades to the players and management of the team. Peter started off by giving his assessment on Carey Price's season.
Well, if we're going on an overall basis, I think it was a good season for Carey Price. Obviously, disappointment in the playoffs the way it ended. But overall, I think it was a pretty good season for Carey Price. We can't complain. The team finished second place in the conference. He was one of the main reasons why also. So I'd give him an A-.
Okay, and on my end for Carey Price, I agree. He had a great season. At the end of the season, it wasn't going as well for Carey Price and into the playoffs. So we found out during the players' post-mortem that Carey Price was suffering a lower body injury that would have required a 6-week recovery for him. But because at the key times in the playoffs and the end of the season where we needed Carey Price, he wasn't there. And if we look at his stats during the regular season, he had a .905 save percentage, a .259 goals against average, which both of them were higher than the backup goals of Peter Budaj. So he had a good season, but I won't be as generous as you, Peter, and I'll give Carey Price a B-. So Pete, also a lot of attention in the post-mortem was Carey Price making comments that he doesn't go out anymore, he doesn't do his grocery shopping, etc. Those comments that Price made concern you?
Not really. I think it's just part of the process. It's normal. He's like the superstar of the team. There's a lot of pressure on him, so I think it's just normal. Any of the stars that have played here in Montreal have gone through this treatment, and I'm not worried at all. I'm sure that maybe it was probably taken a bit out of context too. I don't know exactly how the clip goes, but I'm sure it's not something that bugs him.
And I agree as well. And like Mark Benjamin said in his post-mortem press conference, was it just normal? He's only 25 years old, still a young goaltender. He still has a lot to learn in the NHL. So I'm not too concerned about the comments that was made by Carey Price. The next player that I want us to talk about is the Canadian defenseman P.K. Subban, who's also nominated for a Norris Trophy. So at least now when we're recording the season in review, we don't know if he has won it yet. So P.K. Subban missed the first 6 games due to his contract situation, but I think he came back. His attitude changed. He seemed more of a team player. Finished the team with the second in point score with 38 points. Only Pacioretty was in front of him. And he finished with a respectable plus 12, which was the second highest on the team. So for all those reasons, I'm going to give P.K. Subban an A for his performance this season. Peter?
I agree. I mean, just the way the way his season began with the contract negotiations going a couple of weeks into the season, and as soon as he was signed, he came in, slowly picked up his minutes game after game, and look how it finished. He had the best season of his career, and this is not even he's only so young. He's going to be getting much better. So overall performance for me for this year, I'd give him a A.
So the next player I would like to talk about is Max Pacioretty, who number 67 of the Montreal Canadiens. So Pete, what is your evaluation on Max?
Well, Max Pacioretty was the leading scorer of the team this year with his 39 points, including 15 goals. He probably would have had 30 in an 82-game season. So I think he had the type of season that we expected from him in the regular season. It's unfortunate what happened to him in the playoffs with the injury. We didn't get to see him we didn't get to see the real Max Pacioretty in the playoffs. Unfortunately, it's too bad. But he's also young. He's got many years left, and he's just going to get better and better. Overall, I give him an A also.
On my end, Max Pacioretty, if you look at his stats compared to last year, because last year Max Pacioretty had a great season. He had 65 points in 79 games. This year is 39 points in 44 games. So the pace is actually higher, if my math is good, this season compared to last. I'm going to give Max Pacioretty a B. And the reason is because, well, he did what we were expecting of him. And also because a lot of his scoring was done in bunches, so he wasn't consistent. I would have wanted a more consistent Max Pacioretty than doing a couple of games, then being quiet, and then a couple more games, etc. Next player that I want to talk about is Lars Eller of the Montreal Canadiens. So Lars Eller, we all remember after the first game in Toronto, he sat out. And Michel Therrien, Canadiens started off the season very badly against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Lars Eller was the one that the coach decided to sit out. And he missed the first couple of games, and then he wasn't the same player ever since then. So in the regular season, he finished with 30 points in 46 games, which is great, which is a great improvement. Last year, Lars Eller had 28 points in 78 games. So the improvement was a lot better, and it finally made that the trade for Halak even confirmed that it was a good one that Craig Gauthier made. So I'm going to give Lars Eller a A- this season.
Well, I agree with you with the grade for A-. I think Lars Eller exceeded expectations. The message came through right away at the start of the season when Michel Therrien, after just one bad game, had that take no prisoners attitude, and he's like, you know what, you had a bad game, you're sitting out. And as soon as he was back in the lineup, he played amazing. He played so well that Michel Therrien was just not able to take him out of the lineup again. For a player who averaged less than 15 minutes a game, to have a 30-point season, playing in mostly a third-line role, I think it was a great season for Lars Eller, and the best is yet to come for him.
And let's talk about now defenseman Alexei Emelin.
Well, Emelin, you can't really look at, even though his statistics were very good offensively with 12 points in 38 games, that's not his main role on the team. What we saw is when his absence showed is that he was his big hits were missing. The fear that to the opposition of coming into the blue line and coming past the blue line and getting hit by him, and we saw that after his absence, Markov was not the same defenseman either. So Emelin played that important role on the team that sometimes is overlooked, and his absence was also missed in the playoffs, as we also saw when the rough stuff began with the Ottawa Senators. So I give him a B+ for this season.
And that's the same grade also that I give to Alexei Emelin. And like you said, it was more apparent when he wasn't in the lineup that we saw what the impact that he had. And one of the reasons why the rough stuff started in the Ottawa series was probably because, well, when the Senators were going to the Canadian zone, there was nobody there besides PK to hit the forward. So when PK wasn't on, the forwards were able to get in pretty easily, and that allowed Andrei Markov as well to be one of their targets. Okay, so let's move on now to Josh Georges. In terms of Josh Georges' performance, what made Josh Georges loved here in Montreal off his ice is that he always speaks to the media, always an honest guy, not afraid to speak the truth. But if on the ice, Josh Georges, what we all liked him for was in terms of was blocking shots and killing penalties. And well, this year he didn't have a bad season, but I think he wasn't the same player that we had seen in previous years. So that being said, I'm going to give Josh Georges a B this season.
Same thing for this guy. Statistics don't mean anything in his part. His role is mostly defensive, blocking shots, and he did that perfectly this year once again. One of the leaders on the team. He was third on average ice time per player behind Subban and Markov, so very important to the team. So a B+ on my part for Josh Georges.
I hope you enjoyed the sample of our season in review. If you'd like to listen to the entire episode, click on the link on this page. And this concludes season number 3 of the Habs360 Podcast. I would like to thank allhabs.net for hosting the Habs360 Podcast on their site. But most importantly, I would like to thank you, our listeners, because without you, there is no Habs360 Podcast. A reminder that you can follow me on Twitter at ChrisG1980, and you can follow Peter at Peter Galanos. Habs360 returns for season number 4 in September. Follow us on Twitter at Habs360 for details. Thanks once again, and enjoy the off-season, everybody. Take care.